listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm laughing, just anticipation of all the fun to come.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Over the next 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So.
Yes. Morning, Frank. Yeah.
Fost, as they say in the Black Country.
Oh.
I noticed as I was driven in this morning, I don't mean by some sort of Greek slave master. I mean, I was driven in a car. That the Christmas decorations are still up on Regent Street in London.
Really?
Isn't that terrible bad luck?
That's so depressing, isn't it?
I like the fact that we've got two different sides of the coin there. It's terrible bad luck from Frank, and it's just really depressing from Emily.
Yeah. Where do you sit on this spectrum?
I think there's probably some, administration gloom that's caused it, in it. It's probably, bureaucracy.
I like our two perspectives, though. Mine was very modern malaise with the depression, and then, of course, Frank went medieval with the superstition.
I dare say what's actually happened is that the health and safety people have said you can't use that ladder on that decoration on that day.
I'm worried that modern malaise is the title of a website used by middle-aged Englishmen. I really hope it isn't. But anyway.
Oh, dear.
So I've just noticed, Al, you've got a black eye.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
Is it okay to talk about it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Did you walk into a cupboard door?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I sat up into my friend Ryan's knee on the mats yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he played no part in it?
He was stepping inwards.
Okay.
For any jiu-jitsu fans, I was sitting up to a seated guard and he was stepping in with a penetration step, I think, to do a back step pass.
Oh, Frank, I really felt a bit unwell just then.
No, I liked it. I liked the technical.
Yeah.
I could smell the imbrication.
My De La Hiva guard is just not what it ought to be.
No. And
Tell me about it,
my ventouse is not as good as it was, I must say.
Anyway, it'll go away soon. I read an article the last time I had a black eye that apparently if you eat lots of vitamin C, it's quite good for getting rid of bruises. So,
Can I say, I think it looks quite sexy on you.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks.
Yes.
I mean, the other one's black, but that's just tiredness. But,
No, it does. It makes you look, makes you look like a bloke who puts himself about.
Well, I'll tell you what he looks like. It's a bit like when Daniel Craig emerges from a scuffle.
Yes.
Not a full-on fight, but a little scuffle. He's dispatched a few henchmen. Mm-hmm. That's what you look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah. Except he's not sobbing in the film, and I mostly am.
No, and when's the last time he stepped into a backward penetration?
Yeah, step.
What was it called?
He was doing a penetration step,
and
I was doing seated.
You were
guard.
doing a seated guard. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Isn't that what Ronnie Biggs did? So, what it reminded me of is I got rid of my Christmas decorations on the 6th of January in our house. It's on. It's rigid. That's when That's when they all go.
Right.
Yeah.
Emily Dean was visiting my house, so I said, you couldn't help me carry my Christmas tree to the Christmas tree cemetery.
Imagine my surprise.
Didn't she give you a good tip last week about wrapping it up in a duvet cover or something?
Yeah, you know what? We actually saw a man.
Yeah.
When we walked back empty-handed, just picking the needles off our clothing.
What about when Frank shouted at a man? He said, "Oh, bit late." And Frank said, "Actually, I think you'll find it is the last thing." He had to reply. You did, didn't you,
That's
Frank?
exactly on time, was what I said. Yeah. I was a bit late. It was the 6th of January.
You can't. I mean, the interaction with the passerby.
These people.
Go on. So you had we had.
Yeah, so we saw a man doing that, and it looked awful. It looked like he was ejecting a ghost from a nightclub.
Oh,
yes, it did. Well, Frank encouraged me. Great advice. I didn't know how we would carry it, and then he said, "Just take the base and put it behind you." And I felt like a sort of sedan chair carrier in a Jane Austen novel.
Yeah, I had a problem with that, but we'll talk to it after after the...
We'll talk it out.
We'll talk to it. We'll talk about it after this break.
Okay.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, yeah, what I was worried about is that, first of all, I left the base on the tree. Now you get like a plastic base, it fits into. I just threw it away with that on.
Did you?
I couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's plenty more where that came from. And when we got to the cemetery graveyard, there was a load of bases. Other people had thought, oh, come on.
Well, there's a sort of Christmas tree piled.
Frank,
yeah,
I said, where are we taking it?
It's an actual enclosure for dead Christmas trees, yeah.
When we were walking, I mean, it was a very polar expedition. I thought, when are we going to get there? I said, where is it, Frank? He said, over there where the trees are. There's quite a lot of trees, to be fair, on Hampstead Heath. Then he pointed me in the direction of the tree graveyard or cemetery. And we did the 1, 2, 3 toss.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Well,
we did
Frank
that.
was brilliant. I wasn't so brilliant.
No, I
couldn't do it.
I think it was my fault. I thought we were rubbish. 1, 2, 3, and it just fell just right at our feet. That's why we'd be the worst murderers ever. Body disposal. You've got to be able to go 1, 2, 3, throw.
Or Highland Games. That's
Highland Games. Are English people allowed in the Highland Games?
Don't think so. I haven't read the rule book for a while, but
I imagine big Scandinavian men come over and tape. Is there a women's Highland Games?
8, 12, 15.
Para Highland Games? I don't know anything about the Highland Games.
Dealing with the issues of the day.
Yeah. Well, it's still current.
I only know one event.
Let me guess.
What do you think that might be? Text in on 8. No, don't text in.
Oh, God, I can't think of what that could possibly be.
No, I might reveal at the end of the show.
Yes.
Would be useful, though. Look, they're transferable skills, aren't they?
Well, it would have been useful for us with the tree.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a Highland gamer, you think you'd have struggled with a little Christmas tree going over the fence?
Well, I don't know. It's different from a caber. I think it'd be good if you were playing doubles and you only had one cue. It'd be quite handy for the Passover.
Do you know, Frank, that was
for the Passover?
That was the first Christmas.
One for our Jewish listeners.
Yeah.
That was the first Christmas tree I've carried in my whole life.
You're joking.
No, and I really appreciate you giving me that experience. I won't be going back there.
I'll tell you what we did.
It's a lovely one-off.
I'll tell you what nagged at me about it. It's because I let Emily lead with the bass. It meant that it wasn't pointed in the direction we were going.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, if someone goes overhead in a helicopter, it's going to be really disappointing. It's like if you saw geese and they were in the V but going the other way. You'd think, oh, no. You know, the whole message is we're going this way, isn't it? It's like the red arrows.
Yeah, that's our Northern Star, the top of the tree.
Do the red arrows ever fly in reverse formation with like 6 of them at the front and 1 at the back?
Oh,
I bet someone will know, though.
Well, they will, because we've got a lot of red arrows following fans.
Is that our demographic?
There was a documentary on this week.
Was there really?
About the red arrows.
Damn, I missed that. Must be watching a Doctor Who episode. Sorry, Frank.
Yeah, all about the red arrows. And,
but what was great, though, Al, was
as you'd expect a documentary about the red arrows to be, I suppose. That's just the summary, all about the red arrows.
What I liked about...
Apparently they've been going since the 17th century.
Oh.
Well, now, clearly not. Well, on foot. Started on foot. They're just locked arms.
What I felt was lovely about our Christmas tree moment was seeing the joy in others' eyes. Because at first they thought... I could see their shift in thought, and they thought, "What? Oh, look at those people carrying that tree a bit late." And then they thought, "Oh, what cute children." Frank's son Buzz and his friend.
Yes.
And a lovely little dog, my dog Ray.
Yes.
And then they went, "Isn't that Frank Skinner with the Christmas tree?"
Yeah, I mean, that was one good reason for having the top at my end.
To point at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
just in case you haven't noticed me. I might start carrying a...
huge arrow.
One
of those Soho neon signs. I think you should take that round with you.
I might get a cardboard TV front.
Nice.
That I carry around with me.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a good way of look at me.
It's great. I mean, heat spotted, if that was still going.
Oh, yeah. Is it not going
They
anymore?
can't run us over.
Well, there's still a heat, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no heat.
Do they do spotted though? I don't know. I don't know if you can do spotted anymore. Don't they call lawyers and things?
Oh, did they?
I don't know.
Well, it put a lid on a few celebrity affairs. Mm-hmm. So
of yours.
It's an ill wind that blows. No, good. No, not
anymore.
That was my knees, not them. Heat treatment. I think deep heat I used at one point.
Frank Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I'm glad you did take the tree to an actual sort of tree
cemetery.
Pyre, if you will.
Cemetery, yeah.
Because I don't like that when you're walking along the streets in January and you just see one discarded on a pavement looking all sad.
Yeah, on its side.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't.
Unless it's, directions.
Yeah, where's it pointing to?
No, it could be. When they say burglars leave things outside people's houses marking the house.
Mm-hmm.
You could have like a Christmas tree pointing at the house that doesn't lock its windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got to be careful. So I spin them round.
Well, it's difficult for you on the in the S&M community because you know what pampas grass means, but you don't know what a discarded tree pointing at someone's house means. It could be anything.
No, exactly. That is common. I think you're thinking of the swinging community. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
It's a very different kettle of fish, that
is
one.
Is it?
Oh, yes. It was.
How is the kettle of fish?
It was interesting.
Well, there is a website called Plenty of Fish, I believe.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
An interesting thing was that, as Emily said, my son came with me and his friend Jude, and they took Emily's dog for a walk. Ray. Mm-hmm. And I'm giving all the names. And Buzz had took Ray for a walk a couple of days before, and with me and Emily, during which he said, this is the best walk I've been on since 2016.
Did he?
I thought, hold on a minute, you're only 6, you got nostalgia.
Easily forgotten that he's got that file of facts.
Also, I say, Al, what a great quote for someone who does a dog walking podcast. Quotes don't get better than that. Okay?
I had no idea he kept a journal. But what a thing to come out with. Best walk I've been in since 2016. Oh, good.
It really made my day,
that was really quite a compliment.
But was this the best walk? Do you think he enjoyed this walk?
Well, I think what happened was his friend, I think you said be careful of other dogs.
Yeah.
So his friend, every time a dog came within 20 feet, went, dog! Which was... I might try it walking around London going, ruffian! Every time somebody's slightly threatening.
I'll do it when I say, surgery!
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do that around Chelsea.
Imagine going out with someone who shouted, other woman, really loudly when one got close. But yeah, so every time a dog got close, I got
an aide memoir.
I got anxious about it, I must admit. Yeah. When they're on an extendable lead, I mean, what can you do?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, I was going back to the S&M community. But I also, I went to see, I went to the pictures this week to see...
The moving pictures?
Yes.
Not an art gallery?
No, I went to the pictures to see Stan and Ollie.
Oh, well gel.
The new, what does that mean?
It means very jealous.
Very jealous.
Oh, okay.
The gel in it is short for jealousy.
Yeah,
I imagine there was some sort of...
I go jelly bags sometimes.
I thought there was some sort of gel that formed on the inner surface of a well.
Yeah.
That was scraped off and used maybe as a skincare.
But then, But you
Probably
like things like a well. You'll always go medieval if possible.
Is a well medieval?
Yeah. It's quite old school.
Well.
I feel a bit complicated about the Stan and Ollie film because I haven't seen it yet and I'm a big fan of theirs. But you're about to tell me about it. But there aren't actually going to be any real spoilers because I know about them.
Yes, exactly.
So,
I won't.
I'm a big fan of them. They just sounded quite like they were U2 or something.
I'm a big fan.
Yes.
Was it a posh event or just you say pictures? Or was it? Were there celebrities there?
I'll tell you what happened. Mackenzie Crook was there.
Oh yes.
I think.
What do you mean?
Well, I went up to...
Extraordinary beginning to a story.
It's very hard. I don't know how you do
feel
it.
tense about
I don't
this
know how
story.
you do inverted commas on the radio, but I went up to ping, Mackenzie Crook, ping, and said, I really love Britannia. Do you know Britannia that was on Sky about like pre-Roman Britain? I really loved it. And he plays the druid. And as I went up to him, I thought it was Mackenzie Crook that played him, wasn't it? So I said, you were in Britannia. And he went... And his woman he was with, I'll just call her his lady friend, I don't know what the status was, she really laughed. And he said, oh, I wish I was.
No.
And I thought, is it not him? Maybe it's not him. And I didn't then want to say, are you Mackenzie Crook? Because it did really look like him. And so I said, well, you know. I don't know if he thought, are you in Britannia? Was it some sort of secret Brexit greeting or something? But Kath had said to me, there's Mackenzie Crook. And I said, I must tell him how much I love Britannia. So then when I went off, and I went back to him, and I said, you told me that was
No, but
Mackenzie
she's done
Crook.
that to me, Frank.
And she said, it definitely is. I said, I don't think it is. So I still don't know. So if Mackenzie Crook or anyone who knows him is listening, or a bloke that looked like him, I'd love, please let us know. Because it was hashtag orcs.
I'm dying to know who it was now.
Yeah, well, it might have been him, but why would he have reacted like that?
Have we discovered, did you and Kath Google and discover whether he was in?
No, he was definitely, he played the head druid.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, but it really looked like it. Also, I mean, I love Mackenzie Crook, but it's not like saying to someone, aren't you Johnny Depp, is it? If we're going to be brutal. So, you know, it was very orcs.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think we've got to the bottom of things here. 573 and 111 have both texted. I think you'll find it was Charlie Cooper. One adds with his sister Daisy. Google him.
Charlie Cooper of This Country fame.
They don't continue with that.
I'd be surprised if it was him. Because my partner was insistent that it was Mackenzie Crook. And she actually manages Daisy and Charlie Cooper.
That would be a worrying state of affairs.
If she hadn't recognised him from 6 feet away and he hadn't even spoken to her...
There are stories of distracted agents in show business. But
I know, but that would have been a weird occurrence. If I'd have got over it, it'd have been Charlie, who she actually
unless
manages.
that was Kath was throwing shade in some way, but that doesn't seem her way.
No, I think we can... that's one line of inquiry.
We know it's definitely not him.
Or we can close. It's a pity, because I thought when you said that, I thought that's it, we've solved. Kath,
Well, I
I even
thought so
got
too.
Kath to ask the company that made the film, Baby Cow, I got to ask, because she knows people there, if Mackenzie Crook was at that
And
thing.
what did they say?
They said they didn't know.
Oh.
Well, I mean, for goodness, what does he just roll in uninvited?
Real Scarlet Pimpernel character.
I don't know.
I've been reduced to Google image searching Frank Skinner, Stan and Ollie.
Okay.
And I found lots of pictures of Alan Carr in a trench, but none of
Alan
Mackenzie
Carr in a
Crook.
trench? There's no way of breaking it to me. You could have said he was missing, first of all. It was... Anyway, can I say it's a very fine film, and I cried like a big baby.
Oh, do you have to pay? Sorry,
No, I
applying
didn't have
my
to-
own standards
I didn't
to you
have to
there.
pay. I didn't cry that much. It was a weird thing. I saw Steve Coogan. It was definitely Steve Coogan, because
Yeah.
I said to him, so is it any good, this film? And he said, I'll be honest with you, I'm the best thing in it.
Did it?
So that was definitely Steve Coogan, I can guarantee that. But I was also, it was a bit weird, because I was carrying 3 pairs of shoes.
Well, yeah.
Because we arrived there a bit early, so Kat said, let's go to TK Maxx. Well, I hadn't been to TK Maxx for years. Some real bargains in there.
There are.
So I ended
Breaking
up buying...
news here on Absolute
Yeah.
Radio.
It's like John Barrowman. He's a big fan of TK
Is he?
Maxx.
Is he?
Well, what he does when I said something like, "Oh, I like your jumper," he went, "TK Maxx, TK Maxx." He points at all his items of clothing and tells you where they're from.
But I bought 3 pairs of shoes, which I had to carry with me at this
you?
Should have brought a bag in there as well, really.
I'll tell you what I did, which is a bit... I bought... when I got one of them home, I thought they tried them on. They fit me lovely. I got them. They were 10.5s. I take a 9.
Yeah, you bought the wrong size of shoes.
But they fit me.
Oh, you've been
They
wearing the
feel
wrong
comfortable,
size.
but
Strange
there's 2 inches at the front, unoccupied by my toes.
What's in it?
But they still. Well, I thought it might be handy for a defibrillator at my
Oh
age.
yeah.
Can I tell you, I went to Iona, you know, the Scottish island of
Yes.
Iona, population 161,
Wow.
and
It's a lovely fact. That
I was in an establishment there, and they had a map on the wall, and it was the defibrillator map of Iona.
Oh, yeah.
So you could get to one. It's a bit bleak. What was that? Were you speaking then, or I thought you were being sick?
expiring.
Expiring. Down to that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
That reminds me. You know, showbiz is a fickle business at the best
Apparently
of times.
so, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I almost get a slight burst of pride when I see myself in the newspaper described as just Frank Skinner with no explanation of who I am.
Right.
Oh really?
So that sort of assumes people just know me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tremendous news. If they say...
Oh, do you see that as something of not a slight, but it's
No,
a slight
because
downgrade if they say
if they say Brommy 3 lines, then it's thinking, you know him,
Yeah.
don't you? You know, people need help. It's like sometimes people would say to things, you just do a piece to camera saying, don't forget to text in and send your contribution, like some charity
Yeah.
thing. And they say, can you start by saying, hello, I'm Frank Skinner? My heart always sinks. But anyway, I saw a fabulous example of it this week, of the fickleness of showbiz and how soon they forget. When some of you may be aware, I won't name names, but a certain well-known goalkeeper was accused of doing an impression, of doing an impression of a well-known fascist leader from the 30s and 40s.
Right.
And it said in the Independent, actually, it said he was accused of doing an impression of former dictator of the German Reich, Adolf Hitler. I thought you have to tell people who that is. Oh, that Adolf Hitler.
That one.
I thought, what? If his publicist read that, they would be ashamed of themselves. Not that their publicist has done the best job, if I'm going to be absolutely straight.
I mean, not in a positive way, but he really is. I think we can safely say he's a man who needs no introduction.
Exactly. Yeah, he's well established.
Yeah. And indeed is a publicist's nightmare, I think.
Yeah.
One of the
PR
things...
disaster, that
one
Dark
of,
PR.
yeah. One of the things that a TR disaster,
Well,
Third
Frank,
Reich. Sorry.
taken into lighter areas.
Yes.
That's great.
Good luck.
Joke. Absolutely brilliant. There's some... They do this with Madonna. Again, everyone knows Madonna. You don't need to say the Material Girl.
No.
Not now.
No.
I mean, those, come on.
No, you don't. No, people know Madonna, surely.
The conical bra shape, that's
Yeah.
they always refer to that.
I still don't like Kylie being called pint-sized pop star. I think she's bigger than that.
No, you're right.
She's bigger than that.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
like
she's
about-
not. She's not
about a
modular.
pint and a half, isn't she?
4'11".
I don't know. I don't know what she is in metric. But anyway, this is we're going to break now. Just in case I don't want to startle anyone with music.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website, and now you can find us on Instagram at Frank on the Radio.
Well, literally now. Like in the last few moments, that's been.
What will they think of next?
Oh,
Actually, no, I'm no expert on social media, but
No.
I'm told Instagram's a bit nicer than Twitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
that's
did
true.
once. I logged on to a thing called Instagram,
Oh yeah,
but that's another story.
Yeah.
for a late show
Okay.
maybe.
I don't know who. I think Wayne Rooney's a follower.
By the way, the Laurel and Hardy film features the song "Commencing Dancing," do you know?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Which is when they do a very
Soft Shoe
famous
Shuffle.
comic dance, which is a short sequence of Laurel and Hardy that I used to show to women I'd
Potentials.
started going out with as a test to see whether or... Because you've got to have a test, I think, when you're starting going out with someone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important.
And yours is watching the Soft Shoe
He would
Shuffle
make
on
the
Laurel
So they would
Hardy.
I wouldn't set it up as a test, obviously. I'd just say, have a look at... And show them this
Thus
dance.
setting it up very
Yes.
much as a test.
And if they didn't laugh, then I
They're gone.
knew that we could never be truly together.
Right.
I understand those deal breakers.
Yeah, I think everybody...
Got to have them.
I'd be interested, actually, on 8, 12, 15 to see if any of... Or, maybe on Instagram. Or why not MySpace? I'd like... No, it's all goths.
Does MySpace still exist?
I don't know. When I was on it, though, it was me
You
and
were on
about...
it?
I was on... It's the only social media I've ever done.
Oh, you really picked well. That's like when you got that Betamax.
And it was me and 300 goth teenage girls, as far as I could tell, which is... It's no good.
Possibly a few other comics.
Yeah. But anyway...
What?
I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah.
You were talking about
I'd like
deal
to know,
breakers.
yeah, I'd like to know, and keep it clean, when you know there's a chance a relationship might work and when you know there's a chance there definitely won't. I mean,
Right.
as you may know, I once split with someone because they described Nick Hornby's Fever Pitch as a novel, where it is clearly non-fiction. So, it can be...
And I had the gentleman who referred to me as Dino in
Gone.
the bedroom.
There you go.
Go on.
And
Yeah, he was gone.
a friend of mine finished with a man because when he got into bed with her, he used to put his hands together in a sort of diving into the water thing and dive into bed like that as a bit of comedy. So
And
it could be all sorts.
on the
Yeah.
flip side, on my first date with my wife, she drunkenly went to point at something in a shop window and smashed her head off the window. And I thought, I think she might stick
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's...
What about that man? What about the man who said Zanny instead of Zany?
Was that a man you went out with?
What you say went out with for 2 hours? As soon as
Zanny.
Zanny. He goes, she is so Zanny. I said, yeah, okay.
Oh, I like him.
Literally, I was out the door.
Oh,
I know these sound harsh, but the
I
truth
like
is...
him. I'm really sad
Do you like
about him.
Zanny?
The truth
Do you wish
is...
Zanny was in my life?
I like him.
But I think I'd split with someone who said zany, even if they said it, even if they got it right. But it sounds harsh, but we've probably all been dumped for similar
Oh, I'm sure.
transgressions, minor transgressions, where people just think, no, I don't.
If
I like to
anyone
think
has dumped us for minor transgressions, don't
8, 12,
text in
15.
on 8, 12, 15.
Well, obviously, most of the people who dumped me in the early days are no longer with us.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Come on.
Okay, calm down.
Come
We're
on,
just
we don't-
finishing a
you're not
cashew
paid- you're
nut.
not paid for
I
silence.
was
This,
trying my best to let you consume crisps on air.
Yeah.
this is
Well
no
done.
place for the
Gone.
Pinterest.
Frank, we're getting
Good.
so much love for our Instagram, which has just been set up. Someone said, "Ooh, very 2019,"
Wow. No one's ever said that to me.
and that was from Art
Unless they
Becomes
were
You.
pricing one of my outfits.
Yeah.
Is it gauche to discuss how much love we're getting for the for the social media? Feels a little
A little
gauche.
bit, but I'm okay with that.
I'd like to discuss the Golden Globes.
Oh, that's what Mark Little said this week.
Oh, no, he didn't.
I did wonder as I was.
Oh, no, he didn't.
You'll have to Google it, guys. We can't talk about such
Yeah, but
matters.
not with family around.
No.
It's kind of a photobombing news story. Last time we discussed photobombing, I think I pointed out that I thought that the moon was the ultimate photobomber because it's in the back of all those, like Taj Mahal and.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
But
Taj
this is-
Mahal itself is a bit of a photo bomber, I find.
I bet Red Arrow's done a bit of photo bombing in their time.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Take it back. Their 17th century stuff was.
Oh, what?
Very
On
good.
horseback.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's.
With red, white and blue ribbons coming off the backs of the horses instead of the
Nice.
the now popular, what is that, steam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chemtrails.
Oh, no, don't get into that. Don't have people texting about that.
No.
Of anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, this Golden Globes.
Yes, there's been a lady who has been giving out bottles of water. You might think that's not a news story, but in
Fiji Water Girl.
2019 that is a news story. She's in the background of some photos.
If this is a scandal, would it be known as Watergate?
Oh, Trey Bon,
Come
very
on.
It's been used. Apparently it's been used.
Oh,
Just
has
come
it?
through on ticker tape.
good. Is it really?
Can I just say that Photo Bomber becomes meme is the most 2019
It's,
headline ever. She has.
Is it the end of news?
Well, she was actually employed to hydrate and refresh talent. All
Yeah.
been there, dear.
Yeah.
And
She was called Kelleth Cuthbert.
That's right.
that's one of
That's-
those names you like, Frank.
Kelleth Cuthbert.
Yeah.
I mean, not Kenneth. Kelleth.
No,
Yeah.
which is a shame in a way because I'd like to know how often she gave out the water.
Well,
What's the frequency, Keller?
Lovely.
but I bet her dad is called Kenneth.
You reckon?
And I bet he thought, I'll do like, George Foreman had a daughter called Georgette and all that. And of course, who could forget Your Majesty?
That's-
I bet you her dad is called Kenneth, and he thought, well, I can't call her Kenneth, so I'll sort of use the beginning of a girl's name and then make it Kelleth. But I'd have thought she's a model, apparently.
Well, everyone is modelling.
Oh,
of the
I'm
world.
not.
Are they?
Oh, don't put yourself down.
I don't think that. No, I was actually putting myself on. No, she. It's interesting because the Hollywood community is a very self-righteous. And they'll get up and they'll talk about saving the planet and the empowering of women. And then they'll reach round and take a plastic bottle of water from a pretty promotions girl.
Yes.
And there's a lot of that goes on there. They really are the most terrible people. I mean, they are. I am sort of in awe of their stardom. But God, I mean, imagine being part of that. Imagine the banal
Next week
awfulness.
on The Most Terrible People, Frank Skinner's Most Terrible People.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I would so watch that.
To be fair, he does give Kim Jong-un an easier time than the Hollywood people, so...
Well, Kim Jong-un, I wouldn't say he was a hypocrite. I think what you see is what you get. Imagine, in fact, I want to put together a photo montage of him with what you see is what you get over the top of it.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So we were discussing the Golden Globes and
Yes.
What's her name? Kelleth someone or other. What's her name? Kelleth something?
Kenneth Cuthbert.
Is it Kelleth Cuthbert?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
how could you
Yeah.
forget?
Very good.
Again,
Showbiz.
so fickle.
Short memories. And apparently part of it is that she was in the background on the red carpet in a blue dress, and so people are fixated on the blue dress. I would
Yeah, but-
argue it's become the most famous blue dress since Monica Lewinsky's in
Which is
America. but
unfortunate because
I might
the
be wrong.
designer's somewhat controversial.
Is
Is
it?
it?
It's Marchesa.
Pardon?
Um,
She did not wear Marchesa to a red carpet event.
she did.
Oh my
Yeah, I don't know what
God.
that means.
Okay,
Me
I
neither,
might
I'm
talk
pretending.
to you about it off air just to see if it's okay.
I mean, had she
Why?
been, I don't know what the technical term for this is in 2019, but had she been plain would she have got this kind of
It's
publicity?
very 1950s word, that, isn't it? Well, haven't heard that used since Plain Jane Superbrain.
There you
Oh,
go.
yes.
There you go. But I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
she is, like I
Oh.
say, she's a classic pretty promotions girl, which you'd think would be just gone.
But I think, I mean, she did do that thing, didn't she, of saying, well, I couldn't believe it. Everyone came out of the venue at the end of the night and said, you've gone viral.
Yeah.
You're everywhere. And I think she was as surprised as a fox, that one. She knew what she was doing, Frank.
I
She
must-
was going
That
blue
well-known
steel
phrase.
straight to the camera.
I must say, I've come out of a few venues and gone viral over the years. But, yeah, I just
Welcome
think...
to Instagram, Frank.
Yeah.
I had a look at this story. I mean, to be fair to this woman, it did get me reading about the Golden Globes in general, which I wouldn't normally.
Right.
She ended up on James Corden's show.
Goodness.
She got an extra 150k on the
Did she?
followers front on
Oh,
Instagram.
right.
Oh, I thought you were
Money.
going to say that's what you
Well-
got paid to go on the James Corden show.
Well,
Sounds
she
all
was
right.
made a brand ambassador officially for
What-
Fiji Water afterwards.
Well, what could be better than that? The ambassador spoils us. Anyway, here's one of the categories I noticed in the 2019 Golden Globes, and I wrote it down because my memory is not what it was. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television. I don't know who won it because, to be honest, I never got to the end of the award title. But I
Yeah.
mean,
On
for
that.
goodness sake, shut up about it. And also, this thing about a motion picture made for television, is the phrase motion picture ever used outside of an award ceremony?
No.
If I said to you, do you fancy going to see a motion picture? Aren't you? You'd think, has he
Well,
got
I'll tell you
auto?
what that'd
Has he
be.
got auto cue?
I think that would be a deal breaker.
Yeah, well, exactly. Have we had
Someone
any
said
deal
that-
breakers?
Well, we have had one. From,
Deal breakers, I should say, in case you've just switched on,
yeah.
is when you start going out with someone and they say or do something and you think, no, this can't possibly be a partner for
Exactly.
me.
Like the man who said Zanny to me, who Alan seems to be a fan of.
I am a fan.
109, just to point out, I'm not this shallow now, I'm much older. She says apologetically, rather
I don't know
sweetly.
if that was you talking. Yeah.
As if I'd say that. It was either of those things. It was a first date.
Yes.
I watched him pull up in his car. He got out. He was wearing grey plastic slip-on shoes. At the time, it was the worst thing ever. We didn't see each other again.
But they could
That's
have,
from Joella.
they could have been his driving shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a deal breaker in itself.
I own a pair of
Whatever.
driving gloves and I quite often put my belt on drive setting, as you know.
I do like that.
Can I be honest? I really, I sympathise with you, Joella, because shoes has been a big issue in my life.
Oh, has it?
Men in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a pair of shoes can really break me.
I think you can judge people by their shoes more than any other surface thing. Well,
Yeah.
you know, obviously if they
Garments.
got a tattoo that says "Death to all skinheads" on their forehead,
Right,
then
you know what you're
be
dealing with.
careful.
I struggle with a man in a pointy shoe, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Always have.
We had another.
No, just don't trust him.
we had
did.
another deal breaker. Didn't we?
It's emailed entitled "It Didn't Work Out." ... A first date once reviewed the then newly released Hobbit film as a bit Lord of the Ringsy. No second date. That's
Fair point, mate. that.
Yeah.
Oh, that person knows a motion picture analysis when they hear one.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think I'd be really sad if I was actually an American celebrity that was at the Golden Globes, though, about how this has gone viral. Because if you think about
Oh,
it,
British celebrities there as well.
I'm sure there
Richard
were.
Madden.
I'm sure there were British celebrities.
My name is David Bird. I'm a
But-
police officer. He was there.
Good. But if you think about it, like you've been quite outspoken about how boring water is, Frank, and this person has become a news sensation above all these famous people for giving away water.
I know.
Like, how uninteresting are the celebrities if you can give away not even gravy or lemonade or?
That's the sort of thing
I
Jesus
mean, it's
did.
unlikely that they'd be giving away gravy at the Golden Globes, but
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus didn't give away
oh, did he
water.
not? What did he give away? Wine?
Yeah.
Oh,
If
okay.
she'd done that,
That's much better.
if she'd changed the water into wine,
She
no,
should have done that.
Not Keller.
No, it's not her thing.
No, Les doesn't have that in her game.
Is the water from Fuji? Do we know?
I don't know.
I doubt
I
it.
suspect, it is not. I mean, I don't want to praise any products. I'm not going to say that.
Have you
but
tried it?
Fiji?
Yeah.
It is. It's my favourite.
Is
I
it?
must say I've never heard of it.
Well, it's very high end.
Okay.
Oh, that came out all
Pops you in
wrong.
your place, doesn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
You with your tap. That's the water you like, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I bought a Soda Stream this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
And joined Instagram.
Yeah. I mean,
Keeping it real.
welcome to the 21st
Did you
century.
really buy a Soda Stream?
Yeah.
How lovely. How was it?
Why don't you tell us about this by fax?
Well, I'll tell you what happened is that we got it because to be honest, I went to Adrian Child's flat and he'd got one.
Right.
And
Why's he got one? He just likes them.
Anything he gets, you have to get.
Oh, they're very competitive together, the two mummies, yeah.
I don't think it was
Yes.
that. I think Kath and Boz were both very impressed. Boz saw it as like close-up magic.
Right.
And Kath, to be honest, for some reason, one ecological thing we've really embraced is the anti-plastic bottle thing in our house.
Yeah.
And so Kath got 6 bottles of fizzy water this week in plastic, and I thought, no, this has got to stop. Think of the oceans.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Billy, the 11. And well, let's not be specific, but anyway, so I thought I'm gonna go Amazon Prime. That's what I thought. So it's arrived, and Kath. Now, do you ever get this with things that are bought? Especially gadgets, I think.
Yeah.
I've done it with clothes. She tried it. First of all, she did the fizzing, and then she couldn't get the bottle off the sort of stand.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then after she'd struggled, she asked me, I had to have a go, and in the end I got it off, and I don't know how I got it off, what the technique was. And then it wasn't fizzy enough. And then the next time I saw it, it was in a corner of the kitchen with
Yeah.
things in front of it.
Yeah.
It's like she's already decided, well, we won't, that was a mistake.
It's in the graveyard.
And we won't use that again.
Yeah.
No second chances for the Soda Stream.
That's a shame.
Now I've got to rescue it because I don't know how much it was. I'll have to ask my PA, but it was. I'm sure it wasn't cheap, and so I think it deserves a second go.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
Fran.
have you guys got one?
No, it
Well,
was
get with it.
2019, love.
I haven't
Get
got a
with
Soda
it.
Stream.
Yeah, I suppose you get plastic bottles of fizzy water. What's it called? Fuji? Does that come in a plastic bottle?
Fiji. I mean, it's a lovely water. I will find out if they do
Does
it in
it
glass.
come in a plastic bottle?
Of course it does.
Well,
All
then-
waters do.
Then I will not have it in
All
my house.
waters do.
They don't.
I know.
Got a NutriBullet. Does that count? I mean, that's a gadget for drinks, but it's not fizzy drinks,
What does
granted.
it do?
It's like a juicer, blender thing.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I've got a masher.
I've got an hair styler.
What is that, a coffee maker?
No, that's for my hair.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if we should just list our gadgets.
listen what
you
gadgets
were.
we've got.
You were Nutri.
What about Boz has got completely obsessed with stop motion photography.
Oh,
Has
has
he?
He's got this, it's only like 20 quid.
Going to move into the motion picture business.
I think he might. The motion picture industry, I think you'll find.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Gavin has got in touch with some Soda Stream advice and other things I never thought I'd be saying in this year of my life. But nevertheless, stick with it, Frank. It saves loads of plastic.
Yeah.
I didn't think mine was working well as it wasn't fizzy enough, but you need to press down enough for the bubbles to get to the bottom of the container to get the fizz into it.
Okay. Because in the space of a week, I've had a Soda Stream fizzy water that wasn't fizzy and a tomato ketchup that was incredibly fizzy. I told you that exploded in my hands.
Yeah.
So it's the world's upside down, that's all I'm saying.
But I do think sometimes with a new gadget like that, it's easy to not be assertive enough with it, like just to be
You're
a
right.
bit tentative and
I
not
lack
press it.
confidence.
You've got to be more alpha about it.
It's a problem with the elderly. We're intimidated by
And the young. Sometimes I say to my son, "You happen to it. Just grab the thing."
That's a good. I'm going to remember that. I happen to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not happening to you, is it?
No.
It's a soda stream. It's inanimate. Good.
No, good. That's a good motivational speech from a man with a black eye. Gave it a bit of extra oomph, I thought.
Sorry.
Can I ask one question about the Globes before we move on?
Sure.
Why, in the age of equality that we live in now, do we still have Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress? Why are they in separate categories? It's not like tennis, where you think, OK, well, like, Venus Williams is great, but, there is just a physical thing that would make it unfair.
They should just have best actor.
So we don't even use the term actress
we don't
normally
use it anymore,
now.
So just have best
acting
actor.
person.
And
just best actor.
Best pretender.
Yeah, okay.
Best
but then
reader
there'd
of
be
others.
people from, the benefit office and all sorts of people.
Right,
coming
confidence tricksters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't
You
want
could have
them
best
getting
reader.
awarded.
Best reader of others' words.
Right.
Well, I think you're undermining the great art of acting.
He doesn't want to upset the Doctor Who friends.
But
Am I allowed to, in the sense that I've got diplomatic immunity, having been born into actors,
I know,
I'm
but
allowed to be rude?
I know, but that's just bitterness. that doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Do you think they bought the awards as like a job lot and they've got tons of them? So if they streamline it and go best show off, let's say, they only have to give out one. Whereas if they give out
bitterness as well.
best actor and best actress,
no best actress, because I thought we weren't even supposed to say actress anymore.
No, you're not. It's actor.
female actor.
No, it's just actor.
But they don't say that. They say best performance by an actress in a supporting. It's out of date.
It really is.
It's like,
And this is a man with a soda stream saying that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I nearly went for slush poppies. It was a toss of a coin.
Should we bring back the slush puppy?
If anyone can offer any explanation as to why we should have best actor and best actress, I would love to hear it on 8, 12, 15 or Instagram. Or on the radiogram if someone sends it in vinyl.
I also wanted to bring your attention to a couple of texts that we had last week. I'm going to call this a new feature called Loose Ends.
Oh,
Should
good.
maybe I'm not. Maybe that's not the right feature.
Yeah.
What about last week's messages?
Gone but not forgotten.
But do you remember? Yeah,
I tell you what,
that's
if
a good idea.
anyone on 8, 12, 15 got a nice title for a bit, for a feature in which you look back on stuff
Gone but not forgotten.
from last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were doing one of our running features
Text today.
where we were playing around with the idea of veganuary and then things that you eat or don't eat for 1 month.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
veganuary does exist, apparently.
It does, yeah.
You're
It's a
supposed to
thing,
go
yes.
vegan for a
And
month.
that springboarded us to a few things. And we got a couple of texts in, didn't we?
We
about
did.
things. Somebody texted, I'm only eating berries in February.
I like it.
Prisoner 606. Good
I
work.
like it.
Yeah, and then
Could you live on berries? I suppose you could. You'd be like a gatherer.
Yeah.
a bit like Stig of the Dump. Did he eat berries? What did he eat?
no, I think he
I
had-
know so little about his diet.
I think he had soil.
And you know,
Yeah,
he's one of my favourite characters.
Food that was left in tins, I imagine, like, the sort of remnants that people didn't rinse out back then. I reckon that's what Stig.
I might
Stig had.
try.
He would have smelt a bit, wouldn't he?
I think so.
That would have been my deal breaker.
I might try Stig of the Dump on my son. Has
I
it been
love that
undermined by Stig being on Top Gear?
Maybe.
Actually,
I'm
he was
worried there
dumped.
might be
He was
funny things in
dumped,
that
wasn't
book. I don't know. I haven't read it for a long time, and I just
Did anyone, when Stig was sacked, use the headline "Dump of the Stig"? Maybe not. Anyway, sorry, you were
Oh,
saying.
mushrooms only in September was from Prisoner 646.
September with a CEP.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
that is good.
Well, when that came in last week, you guys liked it, and I'm slightly embarrassed to say that I don't get it. I don't get it.
Don't know the set.
It's a type of mushroom.
Oh, is it?
Set.
Posho mushroom.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. That's been plaguing me not getting that joke for a week, and I've refused to Google it.
Good lad.
And to add to my plaguing, I got in the car the other day, and my wife had left the car on Radio 2.
Yeah.
Not absolute. And that joke was read out by Ken Bruce on Radio 2. So whoever sent us it has obviously thought, wow, they didn't read it. Maybe I'll just chuck it into a different radio station.
You are joking.
I mean, it's all right for us to reuse our stuff in other formats, but surely the listenership...
Do you know what? I felt so special, and I don't any longer.
Yeah, I mean, outrageous.
We didn't read it out, though. That's fair.
We have now, though.
Yeah, that's just like going out with another person after you've been dumped. I think that's fair enough. I don't despise them.
Okay.
No, Ken Bruce. Wow.
I wonder who else got it, though. It does make you think.
Oh, it'd be all across all the channels.
Have we Howard Stern?
Have we?
We got
Going
mushrooms
international.
only in September.
Yeah. Well, we all love mushrooms, guys. Have we got to the bottom of Mackenzie Crookgate?
Oh, somebody texted us suggesting that he's currently got a shaved head.
We had some
I bet
news
that'll be if he's doing a series tour Britannia.
He
we
has a bald head at the Moor from 011.
011. He has a bald head, yeah.
Well, it's not him then.
No.
It wasn't
Are
him.
you sure he wasn't
that's
bald?
True, he definitely wasn't bald. I'd have noticed that. Mackenzie Mistook. That's what I call him. I say Mackenzie Mistook.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, yes, sorry, this is Frank Skinner
Thank
on
you.
Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show at 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website, and as from today, you can find us on Instagram at Frank on the Radio.
Turns out
Instagram.
our radio show is really grammable, yeah? That's a phrase that people use about Instagram, Frank.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There's an enormous piece of graffiti as you drive into the West End at the moment, said the French protest got results. You lot are just Instagram addicts.
Oh.
You lot.
Who's you? That's us.
Yeah, I suppose.
Are we you lot?
Everyone, yeah.
Oh, okay. Boys, I'd like to talk about something I missed. Because occasionally I hear about a performance of something I missed, and I regret it for the rest of my life. Live Aid was one.
Sounds healthy.
Could have gone. Could have gone, didn't
Could have gone.
Yeah. I knew people.
But on balance, you were at Nebworth,
I was at Nebworth,
which, you know,
Okay.
which makes me a hero in
probably
Matt
better.
Ford's eyes.
and mine.
What
How-
do you think the most impressive thing you were at is?
Oh, that's a harder thing.
You know,
now.
in a when something happened.
I think being at a party, having to make small talk with Salman Rushdie during his difficult period.
Oh, yeah.
You can say fatwa, I think.
Am I allowed? Okay.
I think so.
That
I
was.
don't think you can say. I think you have to say big bone one.
It was a different time, wasn't it?
Oh, different times. We didn't know then.
In terms of events, Nebworth was pretty good, I would say. Backstage in Nebworth, very proud of that.
Events. Yeah.
Okay, you guys think amongst yourselves whilst I tell you.
Can I
Do
say
you have
I was at the 2012 100 metres when Usain Bolt
Oh, come on.
won that.
Wow.
That's good.
But obviously that was a much briefer event.
Wait, rip off that is.
Yeah.
I was at the Salford Lowry last year, and we saw a production of 12 Angry Men starring Tom Conti.
Well,
and
come on.
on the way out, my mum went, "That main guy really looked like Tom Conti, didn't he?"
Well,
was that.
I love them. I love you, Mum.
I stopped at the Lowry Hotel and saw then Man United star Owen Hargreaves driving a new Mini. Footballer in a new Mini. Come
When
on.
you saw Arsene Wenger eating an apple with a knife and fork.
I know.
That is a biggie.
That's my best sighting ever.
In Cape Town.
Yeah.
That is a big.
Which I think is the home of the apple. You get Cape apples.
Yeah.
It's the home of the apple.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it?
Well, I think of it, you know.
This
obviously,
performance-
it certainly wasn't in the 70s, that when we couldn't eat South
Oh,
African fruit.
no.
I remember my first piece of post-apartheid South African fruit. And I still was a bit anxious about it. Wasn't quite sure.
Bad timing as well, Frank, because that was the Beverly Hills diet was all the rage.
Is that
then.
right?
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
it's just oranges and pineapples. Anyway, the performance I'm referring to, which you may or may not be familiar with, was the performance of Jack and the Beanstalk at the Niels Community and Arts Centre in Chippenham.
Oh, yes.
It was put on by a production company called UR Productions.
Are they from the West Country?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I immediately went straight to Pirate Alan in
Oh, yes.
who you were talking about. Not so. I don't know if he was a pirate, Frank.
Pirate Alan? No, Alan. There is a character in Treasure Island called Alan. And there's a bit where Long John Silver says, I think they've killed Alan. What? Who? I thought maybe he'd had a sort of a premonition of something that was going to happen in 1968. But anyway, there we are.
Anyway, UR Productions.
Yeah. Who could run that? Eric Cantona could be the chief executive officer. Or Debbie Harry.
Debbie Harry.
Oh, I know.
Ooh,
nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Too
But I
fixated
imagine
on
it's
the
a
West
West
Country
Country, and they called it's a
Yeah,
self-referential.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like if I opened a place in, let's say, in Gornal in the West Midlands, and I called it, well, what can you? You called it nothing, can you? Productions.
It'd be long letter-headed.
It would be, but no one
be
would know.
well.
No one would know. Well, it's slightly better than who are.
Well, it's like, Frank, also I like to think if I open a florist's, I call it Say It With Triffids.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
might do a little business.
Nice.
Idea. But
Nice.
this,
Can I say Emily Dean starred in the popular BBC dramatisation of Day of the Triffids in 19...
let's leave that.
Okay.
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 Frank.
It's in Collar, in case you're wondering.
Oh, how?
I think I've got the Fez is burning a hole in me. I mean, new readers should know that the producer places a small Fez at the
On the
side
table.
of me to signify that I should shut up and press the button, which brings music or adverts. So I'm going to do that now. Hold that thought, as they say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we were talking about UR Productions and Jack and the Beanstalk,
Yes.
which they were forced to offer a full refund of.
Well, I think the theatre offered the refund.
Theatre did, yeah.
Volunteered it, I think.
Madness.
We
Yeah.
should say that the complaints went thus. They said there were only 3 people on stage. Well, I mean, Waiting for Godot's got to.
I've
Did all
done
right.
shows
Well,
staffed
4.
by fewer.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Also, I think me and Al, as soon as we had 3 people on stage, they were thinking, three-way split, how much they get?
Yeah, a bit crowded.
Yeah, exactly. 3 people?
How dare you? Is this how you
Also-
tell me? Thanks a lot.
You're only, there's only 3 people doing this, for goodness sake.
Exactly.
Also, it's called Jack and the Beanstalk. There's a promise of only one.
Yeah.
If it was the Snow White thing,
Oh, yeah, that
There were
would have been
complaints
like
that there was no scenery. There was also complaints.
can I ask a question? Do you
Sure.
think anyone has ever watched 101 Dalmatians and counted the Dalmatians?
If you don't mind me saying, you're the type that would. I can imagine you sort of saying, well, it's 97.
bet. Because there's those website things where people have spotted the most minor continuity things and stuff like that, or the stormtrooper banging his head on the
Oh, yeah.
on the rafter of the spaceship and all that stuff. But I wonder if anyone's counted the. I mean, the dwarves you can 7, but 101, especially as they're all very similar.
Very similar, yeah.
Be good to know. Anyone knows that? 8, 12, 15.
It'll be on the internet, is my guess. But
Oh, the internet.
the
They-
panto thing.
They also, or somebody complained, because they said there were so few personnel involved, they were forced to talk to people in the wings to make up for the lack of actors. Now, I would argue very strongly that is quite a well-worn conceit with
Voices off.
Beanstalk, with the giant. You
Yeah.
see the big legs off stage.
Yeah.
You see them crashing down, and you hear the fee-fi-fo-fum.
I did hear that apparently they said they looked off to stage left for the beans to be thrown on, and they were thrown on from stage right. So I think it might...
Wasn't that just a joke?
That sounds like a joke.
That's not really one of the comments.
That's what I heard.
Essentially, I would like to defend our productions.
Me too.
Well, do we in agreement over this? What do we all think?
Totally.
I definitely, incidentally, I once phoned my friend Tracy McLeod to tell her that Jimmy Cranky, who...
Such a name dropper.
What's the real name?
Jeanette, very good.
Jeanette Cranky had injured her back. Just as a story I liked, and I said, have you read this? Jeanette Cranky's injured her back falling off a beanstalk in pantomime. And she said to me, you didn't need the in pantomime part of that sentence.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So, no, please, after you. Après-vous.
I was going to say there's a quote in the story about this panto that has not pleased people, where someone says, "Won't be paying for that again, ever."
No.
What, paying for what again? What, panto or
That
or
specific
live theatre experiences?
No, that...
You can't see one bad panto and rule yourself out of live entertainment forever.
the quotes,
Is that what they mean, ever?
The quotes from the audience, I think they meant that, didn't they? Which obviously, you won't see it again. Because it's not on.
And they got a refund. I'm not sure about it.
Definitely
I sense a tension from you about this giving of refunds to disgruntled customers.
Well,
I'm worried about an audience that I played to in Brighton last year.
no, but I
don't want, I don't want them phoning up.
You know how much the tickets were for this?
No.
£7.
Oh,
How much?
£7, and people have moaned it wasn't up to standard.
well, there was also one person who said, my kids were bored. Thankfully, I found the bar.
Yeah.
You sound like a nice parent.
No.
Lovely.
Well, I think there's two
Also, 2
alternatives.
drinks.
There's
Probably
two
shouldn't have put that comment
alternatives. Even that, that's a parent with a drink problem and the kids should be rescued. Or it's somebody
Yeah,
thinking,
boss.
oh, I know something that always gets a laugh, and that's a suggestion.
Oh, the bar.
Oh, look, I have a drink. Oh.
Needed a drink to get through that one.
Yeah, don't do that.
So, I feel for UR Productions.
Me too.
They're just doing their thing. And they've got a production of the 39 Steps coming up, I notice.
Also,
probably get complaints. Yeah, saw this. There was only one step.
3.9 steps, more like.
but £7 to see a terrible panto. I mean, think of the anecdote. That's worth £7.
Yeah.
Totally.
There was a production which we won't name to protect the guilty, but that Frank used to go and went to see a number of times because it was he enjoyed the badness of it.
I can't remember what that was.
Oh, I can. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
But there was some.
He might be listening.
No. I don't. He won't be.
No, but it's very hard, isn't it, to put a price on that rarest of all commodities. Something to talk about. And the people who went to that panto probably be to every Christmas.
Yeah.
I like the way pantos come back. That story will suddenly be hot again.
Yeah, it's a hardy perennial of
It
the
is.
anecdote.
Also,
Yeah,
I
absolutely
think it
is.
might have been very good and they just didn't get it.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, we've
Well.
all faced that crowd, haven't we? Haven't we?
Maybe it was, incredibly avant-garde.
That's what I think. It was a bit too art house for them. A bit too art house if you're saying, where's the bar?
Yeah, exactly.
There was a lady who said...
Where's the bar and stalk?
There was one lady...
Well, how many characters are in Jack and the Beanstalk
gonna say-
anyway? There's the mom,
The
Jack.
mum, there's Jack. I mean, the cow. Just use you
you
use an
don't
old papier-mâché thing.
You don't need a real cow.
Yeah.
Now that's how you
Giant.
tell me.
Giant.
I was enjoying this job.
Giant is, it's hard to...
Papier-mâché again.
Giant's wife again, too big.
Or figurative. Like, you could just imagine these people.
Yeah. Encourage your kids to imagine it. They don't need big sets, because there's no set, was there?
Are you
I think it was-
suggesting your
the magic-
imagination?
It's the magic of theatre.
Yeah.
There was one reviewer who said, I thought it was wonderful.
Oh.
Everyone was joining in with the cheering and very loudly booing. She meant well.
Yes.
It didn't go.
That
She did
sounds
a
like a gig I had in Luton about 15 years ago.
You've both
Better
been
or
there.
worse than the one in Brighton?
It's significantly worse than the one in Brighton.
Oh, it's terrible the way you forget the good ones.
Can I just say I've had some good ones? I don't want to
I
do
know,
a
I
bad
know.
PR
I've
message
seen you
on
have.
that.
I've seen you have good ones.
I have as well.
It's official.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We were talking.
Reminiscent of the former dictator of the German. Anyway. Carry on.
We were talking about what were the awards? You were talking about the Golden Globes, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And the slightly ludicrous categories they have.
Well, I just think it's time to get rid of the actress-actor thing and just have Best Actor.
And 672 has said, I agree Best Actor across the board should be the way to go. Maybe that could free up space to recognise another department. For example, stunts are not recognised at the awards, so maybe a Best Stunt Coordination Award could take its place.
Good. And that's never occurred to me.
Clearly from a stunt person.
Or you could go more
That could be a
categories.
stunt person.
Clearly a stunt person.
I mean, why should it be gender-based? You could have, like, Best Ginger in a supporting role.
Yeah. Ron Weasley.
Yeah?
The Ron Weasley
Yeah.
Award.
We've also had a message.
Best star over 25 stone in an independent movie.
That would be a strange win, wouldn't it?
Is it any more stranger than separating people by gender? 12-15.
Yeah, but imagine if you got nominated for that.
Well, you'd know. If you're over 25 stone, you'd know.
You might think you were 21 stone. Okay,
Well, okay.
It would just not be a nice way to find
I'd
out.
like to be there at the weigh-in for that category. I actually I weighed the whole radio team on January the 1st every year. That's news for the
I
week.
like
That's
it. It's
my
a
life.
nice ritual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's good and it gives you something to aim at.
Yeah,
Alan and
it
I
helps me
do
set
it.
up my SMART goals.
Alan and I do a bit of beef for the camera, don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
We square up to each other.
Yeah, and really stare at each other in there.
Yeah.
So we were also talking about deal breakers, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Relationship deal breakers.
Relationship or dating deal breakers. And Nix with a camera is one of our new Instagram followers.
Oh, goodness.
She's got in touch to say, oh, look at you on Instagram. Heute, Deute.
Yes.
I once ended a date early when the lady referred to her recent trip away as her hollybobs.
Oh,
That's from Nicola.
That would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get back from there.
We've had another one from 403. Deal breaker. After a really nice brackets intimate night and day together.
I wish you hadn't listened. I wish we hadn't had bracket. I blame the parentheses.
Legend. We parted and she called me Steve. The issue with that is that my name is Paul. Not so much of a legend now. I was faced with two options: live my entire life with this person as Steve, or break up immediately with no further embarrassment.
Hold it, I've just thought of a third option.
How was that?
Come on.
Say it's Paul, actually.
Well,
Wouldn't that have been all right?
they then add, I told this story to my best friend in strictest confidence and he duly told everyone, I'm still known as Steve to my friends.
See, he might as well. He stayed with that person because everyone calls him Steve anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he duly told everyone. So many first names in this story.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I once dumped someone years ago because having met them for a date outside a cinema in the dark...
Is
I
this
hadn't-
you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm reading.
Okay, sorry.
This is my reading voice.
so well. It's so real.
I'm very... Yeah, it's one of my few skills. Having met someone for a date outside a cinema in the dark, I hadn't noticed. When the lights were turned up at the end of the film, he had baked bean juice round his mouth. Gone by Becky.
Wow, Becky.
You think that's harsh?
Yes.
I don't at all. If someone turned up with all orange baked bean around their mouth, oh, disgusting.
Also, if I took someone to the cinema, I would hope that would all be licked off by the end of the film.
You are awful.
And also, it might have been lipstick. It could have been
Could
you
have
know.
been any. Maybe he had orange.
Oh, yes, that's infinitely preferable. Him
Gentleman
turning
wear.
up with some other woman's orange
No,
lipstick.
but he might
No,
have.
it
He
could have been
might
his
have
own.
acquired it in the cinema if he'd
If he was on a date with Toya.
if he had a Fiora
yeah.
and had an orange drink.
I recently found, when I was walking past the mirror, some egg on my face. You know the well-known phrase, egg on your face?
Oh,
Oh, you
yeah.
literally had it.
I
Indicating
think he wrote the Good Food
embarrassment.
Guide.
Yes.
I cut off my nose to spite my face recently.
No,
Did you
but
really?
honestly, I found egg on my face, and I didn't feel that embarrassed. I think it's a wrong phrase.
How did your partner feel?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, he wasn't dumb, clearly.
No.
Didn't consult
We
her.
don't know that.
Unless
He's
it's-
got a beard. He's got the sleeping on the sofa beard.
By the way, incidentally, while we're riffing,
Are we?
I'd like
that
to
what it
thank Mr. T.A. Mitchell.
Mr. T.
Mr. T.A. Mitchell, who sent me
Going on a plane.
a mug in. I can't really describe it in any sort of detail.
Oh, I saw that.
It's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
shape. Well, it's in the shape of human excrement. I think that's.
You've described
I
it
have
very well.
described it. With a lid as well. Of all things,
Yeah.
some sort of poo stein.
Very kind,
But
really.
yeah, it's lovely, and I'll.
Kind.
It's because I drink tea on the toilet, which some people think is unacceptable. Not me. Someone
we-
also sent me Scratch Man, by the way, which is Tom Baker's new Doctor Who novel.
Oh.
I mean, I can't think of a more you present.
Well, exactly.
I'd also just like to say Amanda has said her kids did count the Dalmatians and there weren't 101, but they don't show them all together, so apparently it's difficult to count.
No, I imagine
there's
it
a
would-
lot of them.
It would be quite hard to spot.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
you
Anyway.
see?
by the way, perhaps you can clear this. You're sciencey, Al, aren't you?
No.
You're constantly defending science, aren't you?
Oh, you shouldn't have to defend science. I'm not pro-faith. I'm not sciencey.
Well, I was.
I would like to be more sciencey.
I was thinking about astronomical things.
Oh, yeah.
This week.
Well, the cost of.
Yeah.
So was Al.
Yeah,
How
that's
much you
soda
spent on that
stream.
soda stream?
But no, do you remember? Actually, that reminds me. Do you remember? What was Margit? Margit was the mother of the Cheeky Girls.
Yes.
And she's when Gabriella started going out with Lemby Opek.
Oh, yeah. Great
She
days.
said, they talk about such intellectual things. I heard them the other day talking about astronomy. And I knew what it was because I'd met Lemby Opik, and he's one of those blokes who believes there's an enormous meteor heading towards
Is
the
it?
Earth,
Oh, yeah.
which would account for his carpe diem approach to life in general. But anyway, this is something that maybe people could email in and explain to him. We can sort it out next week. It said that the Chinese have landed on the dark side of the moon.
Have they?
Yeah, it's quite not people, but they've landed. I think 2 craft on the dark
Quite a
side
thing
of
to
the
find
moon.
out at 10:52 on a Saturday morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but here's my thing: as the moon revolves,
Oh,
how come there is a dark side of the moon?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Is
bet
it
we
the
get an
dark-
email about this. Someone
Yeah,
will
well, I'd
tell
like
us,
to know the answer, but
saying that it's moving
Yeah.
less slowly.
is
and
the
it's,
dark side
there
the dark
always is
side
a-
of the moon is sometimes the light side of the moon?
Well, if they're maybe they're both spinning around each other. So it's,
Well, we
yeah.
should have asked old. We were at a party recently and Nick Mason was there. we should have asked
Mason?
him.
What,
Thought
for the
you were
Pink
gonna
Floyd?
say that.
Right,
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say Brian Cox.
No, it's Nick Mason. Oh, no.
Well, everybody knows now. Of course, it's so fashionable, science. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Be seeing you.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.